This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 450, How to Find Success with Deliberate Selling.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers, and just this past week, I made a sales call that took forever to schedule. We're talking multiple emails, voicemails, a few LinkedIn posts before the prospect responded and agreed to meet. Since I had met these people earlier in the year, I thought it'd be easy peasy to get on their calendar, but boy, what a fool you are, Pat. And to be fair, they are busy people, and they're the ones doing me a favor. You would think after all these years of doing this that I'd still need to be reminded that these things take time and tenacity. That's why it's important to be deliberate when selling. That's the topic for today. But before we start, make sure and subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you're listening to, and also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and myself on LinkedIn. You can find links in the show notes. And now today's chapter. Be deliberate. With deliberate and measured growth, the sapling reaches great heights. Knowing it's not an absence of action, the master seller sees patience as power. They wait for the right time to act. With steady follow-up, they advance the sale, guiding the close with a steady hand. And now today's story. Chris finished the call with a look of frustration. Pat noticed and said, "Hey, what's up?" With a sigh, Chris smiled and responded, "You know that Wilcox deal I've been working on for the last month? Well, they decided to pause their new expansion plan and go back to the old vendor. I can't believe I lost the deal." "So, the expansion plan's history?" asked Pat. "No," said Chris, "but it's not happening this year." Pat nodded, paused, and then said, "The way I see it, you've not lost the deal. It's just not now. Be patient. Keep checking in every couple of months. You still have a good shot. Remember, it takes decades for an acorn to grow into a mighty oak. 6 months is a blink of the eye." In the Bible, the mustard seed is often mentioned, given its ability to grow from something very, very small into a tree as tall as a house. In the book of Matthew, it's written, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it'll move. Nothing will be impossible for you." This is a parable of patience, how given enough time, anything can happen. For sellers, it demands that we work many deals all at once. Some will close early, some later. The bigger the deal, the longer it takes. With patience and intent, large deals can close. Keep plodding along. Don't give up. To download a copy of this week's Tao of Sales Babble chapter, you can find it in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for a brief weekly newsletter with links to the podcast conveniently in your inbox. Next, if you could do me a favor and share this episode with a friend or somebody who's interested in growing their selling skills, please do. Word of mouth is the best way to grow an audience. You want to talk some more about tenacity and being deliberate? Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn or click on the Babble Me link on the website. I'd love to meet with you and chat. With that said, that's all I've got for this week. Until next Tuesday morning, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.